Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing a classic and a fantastic value in horlogerie from Breguet. This watch is the Breguet Classique Chronograph 5247BR in rose gold, 39 millimeters in diameter. It has the legendary Le Mans 2310 in fully finished form, alongside a Grand Faux enamel tachymeter dial. The rose gold case is 39 millimeters in diameter. From lug tip to lug tip, it measures 47.9 millimeters. It's 12.3 millimeters thick, and it has a versatile and universal 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, so you will find many aftermarket and OEM strap options in that size. On the wrist, it's a good fit. You can see the lugs cause it to wear maybe a little bit larger than its rated size because they are so straight, they project rather dramatically. But I can wear it easily on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and I can rate this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It's still going to wear just fine. It's also low enough with a sloped bezel that it will fit underneath the cuff, no problem there. We have a very high grade strap from Breguet, large rectangular scale, symmetrical shaped scales, alligator leather. This is an extremely expensive cut. It's a medium brown with some bolstering to give it volume. It has a folded edge. It has a contrasting stitch, calfskin on the bottom. You can see it is a brand new Breguet factory strap. We have a folding clasp here, a single folding clasp with a friction snap shut. You can see it is Breguet branded with a combination of media blasting and polish for a handsome distinction. Now, just as the strap is fixed to the clasp using screws and bars, the strap is fixed to the case using screws and bars. And this system makes for a very robust attachment that gives you greater security and peace of mind than a springboard. It's a bit more expensive to make, but a watch like this is worth the effort. This is a highly handmade case. As you can see, the lugs are inserted into slots in the case, then welded on, with all evidence of the welded joint removed by hand. And the coining on the case profile is achieved by cold rolling the case profile and then hand finishing to remove any marks of industrial process. We have a bezel that is domed with an outer lip, and then we have a case back that is also domed with an outer lip. The two define the mid-case profile. And we have a Breguet branded crown. We have round polished chronograph pushers. You can see there's a little kerf underneath the crown where you can dig your nail in more easily. They think of everything here. You can see a set screw helping to fix the two binding bars and binding screws in place so this stays put. On the dial, we have Grand Faux enamel fired up to 20 times at 800 degrees Celsius. They start with a solid gold dial base. That's the base disc. On top of that, the 20 layers of vitreous or glass-based paint applied and then fired to smooth it out and bind the crystals of the paint together to create this glossy, gleaming, eternal dial that will never oxidize, fade, or wear with exposure to the elements, light, and time. We have lovely Breguet-style Arabic numerals. You can see it says Swiss Enamel Grand Faux, email, in their case being enamel. We have a seashell-like tachymeter scale, although telemeters are sometimes portrayed like this. This is a tachymeter scale, and you know that because as you follow the scale, the quantities get smaller and smaller. So the longer you're timing something with the tachymeter, the slower the speed of the object. Whereas telemeters, the longer you wait, the greater the distance, because telemeters are used to judge distance and tachymeters are used to judge speed. Surprising amount of color on this dial. We have fired blue steel Breguet-style hands for the hours and minutes. And then you can see we have separate blued hands for the constant seconds and chronograph minutes. There is a lovely red varnished chronograph seconds hand with a loop style counterweight. And if we flip it all over, and we will flip it all over now, the big piece, the Le Mans 2310, which has done service in watches as disparate as Pre-Moon, Moon-flown Omega Speedmasters, Patek Philippe's 5070, and many generations of Vacheron Constantin, and also Breguet and also Roger Dubuis chronographs. This is a universally loved heritage movement that's been around since the early 40s, and here it's finished to a high degree inside this Breguet. It's doing business as Breguet caliber 533.3. It's a manual wind with a 48-hour power reserve. It has a slightly higher beat rate at 21,600 vibrations per hour than the standard Lemania. You could see the column wheel entirely black polished across its top, as well as the lateral clutch, and this is one of the crispest, most positive feeling and sounding column wheel chronographs I've ever operated. You can also see we have a black polished swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism and a free sprung balance with a overcoil hairspring shaped by hand, a Breguet overcoil of course, so that in any position the hairspring will breathe concentrically and allow precision and regular timing. That's the thing about a overcoil. Its mass is more centered than the lopsided mass of a flat hairspring, so you don't get that same variation in position that you get with the asymmetry of mass that comes in a flat hairspring. Now, it's also been adjusted in 6 positions, which is uncompromising, as it gives deviation and inaccuracy no position in which to hide from the timing test. It's also a 24 joule movement, as are most versions of the Lemania 2310. And you can see that all of it is immaculately decorated. You can see black polish as I turn the watch. You can see many screws, and the swan's neck and other surfaces that turn black are mirror polished with a diamond paste. We have satination and mirrored beveling on the edge of all the steel chronograph components, and then we have Côte de Genève as well as mirrored anglage across all of the brass bridges of the movement with satination on the wheels. And you can even see some of the wheel designs are created to evoke the design of Breguet pocket watches from the 19th century. All of this is quite attractive and water resistant down to 30 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.